everyone is building a brand anyway. Most people are just building it unintentionally.
Well, hello and welcome back to the Amanda Kaufman Show. I am so excited to be welcoming Maxwell Nee to the show today. Now, I got to tell you something. His team reached out to me and said, "Hey, are you looking for podcast guests?" And I do get a lot of requests for this, but I was really blown away by what Maxwell and his team have been able to do with quizzes. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is so timely, so helpful for our particular audience. Maxwell, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. That's very kind.
Of course. Well, why don't you take 30 seconds and just introduce who you are and what it is that you all do with your quiz technology.
Yeah, thank you. So I am the Chief Revenue Officer for ScoreApp. ScoreApp is a quiz marketing software company. So we help people to build their own quizzes so they can market their companies. It works really well for coaches, consultants, authors, service providers, thought leaders, digital entrepreneurs, anyone selling anything digital. You know, if your product is on Zoom, it'll work well for you. And we have about 7,000 clients, paying clients all around the world. And, I used to own a coaching business where we used to do about 200 a month. We had like 23 team members at its highest point. Because of that, I was in Forbes and a whole bunch of other places. And this software, I'm actually an investor in the software, was one of our top lead generators. So we needed about 2,000 leads a month to sustain that. And this is how we got a lot of that.
That's really, really cool. So walk us through what makes a quiz. There's so many ways to get leads online, right? Like we could do a PDF lead magnet. We could host masterclasses. The award behind my head, that was for doing $1 million through a Facebook group funnel. So there's like a lot of ways to market. So Maxwell, what you so excited about quizzes that you became an investor in the technology?
Yeah, it's really simple. It works really well. So a typical lead magnet. So what's a lead magnet? A lead magnet is an action that turns an audience person. So they could be someone scrolling, could be someone listening to a podcast, could be someone watching a video, someone checking you out on Instagram or LinkedIn or Facebook or wherever else, that converts that person into a highly qualified lead. So they've basically given you some information saying, "Hey, Amanda, I'm interested to potentially buy what you have to offer." That's a lead. And I've used a whole bunch. I've used free books. I've used discount codes as lead magnets. I've used a free call, a ticket to a workshop, all that type of stuff. And they typically convert at about 10 to 15%. So you need like 10 people to see your offer before one person will give you their information, roughly. But with quizzes, for some reason, the same audience typically converts at 20 to 40%. So
Whoa.
that, doubles. Yeah. So that can double and quadruple your numbers, and you build your audience, your email list 2 to 4 times faster. So that's really exciting.
That is very exciting. Yeah. And I mean, like those numbers at that point in the funnel, like that makes a very, very big difference downstream. So, I mean, you've been working, it's ScoreApp, right? What is it about setting up a quiz that maybe is the less sunshiny side? Like I love really great opportunities, and I also find that usually there's like more complexity that goes with it, or there's some nuance to it. So what should our dear listener know about quizzes?
Yeah, good question. Well, let me share with you why I think it works so well. So a very common quiz funnel for you to picture in your mind is like the body type quiz funnel. So let's say you want to work with a personal trainer, you want to hit your summer body goals, and then you see this ad or you see this offer online that says, find out exactly what body type you are, exactly what you need to eat to hit your summer body goals, and how I can help you to get there. Right? And then there's typically 3 body types, thin, medium, large in terms of like genetics, right? Like your bone structure. And then depending on that, you need different strategies, specific tailor-made strategies for you to hit your goals faster. So that there's a few reasons why that's compelling. It's compelling because you're personalizing something to me. It's not one size fits all. It's not, hey, come and read this, and this is, the coach's guide to winning at life. No, it's why specifically you're not winning at life, right? To that specific coach, as an example. And personalization is everything. Amanda, if you and I were to jump on Amazon.com right now, you would see a completely different website. I would see a completely different website because right, or our YouTube accounts, right? You'd see completely different videos. I'd see a whole bunch of like baby videos because my daughter watches my YouTube account, right? So what happens is, these big companies are putting so much money into more data and more personalization for each and every one of us, and they're constantly receiving feedback and learning how to monetize that from us. ScoreApp does the same thing, right? And another reason, so that's like the logical reason why it works well. And there's always an emotional reason, like the sizzle, right? The sizzle, the sex factor, the excitement.
Well, it's so dynamic to take a quiz. Like, I know as a coach, we're pretty obsessed with, personality profiles, human design. Like, we're always looking to know ourselves even better. So, that makes an absolute ton of sense. If somebody wanted to pursue doing a quiz funnel, and let's say that they're a little bit earlier in, because most of our audience is generally a little bit earlier in their online marketing journey, what would you say are the top do's and don'ts of approaching a quiz funnel to maximize the likelihood that you're going to get the result that you're looking for when you pursue this?
Yeah, so the lowest hanging fruit, the don't is don't overcomplicate it, right? The lowest hanging fruit is, if you're like a coach or a consultant, and let's say you have like a 3-month program, coaching program, or you have a methodology or whatever, your program, if that's working for your clients and you believe in it, and especially if you've added your own personalization to create the pillars, right? Your 3 pillars, your 5 pillars that you take people through, that is simply all your quiz needs to be. That's it, So there's a coach, I think he's based in the UK, called Sahil, and he has a book called The 5 Types of Wealth. So lo and behold, and that's his program, that's his brand, and lo and behold, his quiz is the 5 types of wealth, and it's killing it, right? So it shows you where you are on the 5 types of wealth. So that is, you just want to have like one business model. If you sell one type of coaching, you've got one program, you want one lead magnet to it, and you want to have people just walk down a straight line, a very, very clear and focused straight line to get to you.
Yeah, I love this. A few years ago in my own business, I was playing with all manners and different kinds of funnels, and I will add to the data here. It's not just according to Maxwell, but Amanda also says, when I did a quiz-based funnel, now I built it using like a tool, Typeform at the time. But so it ended up that I had to spend like a lot of time doing the logic and all that kind of thing, testing it out. And
it's horrible.
What didn't work for me was because I was still at the time testing a lot of offers at the same time. So, but I found that people's like propensity or desire to go through that experience, it blew me away. And that's why I invited you onto the show, because like, I was like, oh man, an expert on quizzes. I know that this works. Because the reason it didn't work was not that the funnel didn't work. It was that I didn't have the back end of it stabilized to be able to capitalize on that, and moved on to other funnels. So very exciting. Yeah. So this is great for fitness coaches. This is great for, you gave the wealth coaching example. I've got a lot of people in our audience who do, high performance coaching, executive coaching, leadership coaching, life coaching. Do you have any examples of some ways they might imagine using it for those kinds of niches?
Yeah. So let me answer this in two parts, because we have like a life hack for that. So it used to take someone about a day and a half, to set this up, and they'd have to get into the weeds of almost like building a website, right? It's that level of tech. It's not crazy. It can be simple, but you have to know where to go, and you have to be a little bit into it. When you're setting this up, it used to take about a day and a half. But now we've integrated an AI wizard, right? Where the AI wizard will ask you, "Hey, Amanda, who's your clients? Who do you serve? What problems do you solve for them?" You answer one, two, three sets of questions, maybe four, and then it'll write for you your quiz and a marketing campaign for your quiz in about 5 minutes, and that's about 6 to 7 hours of copywriting. And all you need to do then is to go in and polish the edges, right? So it'll do your first, second, and third draft for you in a few minutes. And if you're looking for inspiration because you haven't quite worked it out yet, or you're a very early coach in your journey, right? You haven't been doing this for many, many years, then it's a huge life hack.
That's amazing. I'm sorry, I was just tallying up the tens of thousands of dollars that I've spent on learning how to be a world-class copywriter, and, all those days, weekends spent, elbows deep in working out the logic and the coding and things like that to accomplish similar things. And it didn't look good, so to have something that's pretty polished is pretty impressive. That's cool. Does somebody have to be running ads to benefit from a quiz? Like, what are some of the ways that you've seen people use quizzes effectively? Maybe it's using advertising, maybe it's other ways.
Good question. So we actually have a resource in the platform because, your conversion event, your action that people take is one part, but you also need the traffic, right? And there's the resource, which is the seven powerful ways to generate leads without ads. Basically. So we offer you 7 different ways. Podcasting is a really good way. Podcasting is so underrated. The average person listens to podcasts, listens to about 7 hours a week. So an hour a day. That's more time than some people spend. Yeah, that's more time than some people spend with their partners, right? Per week.
Oh my God, I
hadn't thought about that. Also, when people are doing that, people don't listen to podcasts necessarily to numb their brain, right? It's a bit like what you would do when you just want to veg out on the couch and watch Netflix. People listen to podcasts to better themselves. So they're in learning mode, right? They're in learning mode. They're in action-taking mode. The attention span is at a different vibration. That's one of the little hacks I'll give you.
Yeah, I love this. So Maxwell, another one of the reasons I invited you to join us here at the show is, you do have so much experience of like scaling up a coaching business, and not just with the quizzes, but just like in general. So I love to ask my guests, what are 3 things that help a coach not to suck? Not to suck. So how to win. Not to suck. Yeah.
Right. How to win. So look, if I'd start all over again, this is the order that I would teach any coach to do things. First, you got to pick who are you really excited and passionate about helping. Right? Like, is it mums? Is it women of a certain age? Is it professional men? Is it executives? And typically you'll have a connection to these people because you used to be them. I used to be in corporate, and I might get really passionate about helping corporates, exit corporate life and become an entrepreneur, or not to burn out because I did all those things. Right? So it's the who, and then the next tip I would give them is to create a quick and dirty quiz to understand their needs. So all a quiz is that, yeah, it's a fun lead magnet for them to give you your information, but it's also a needs analysis for you. So it's the same process that a doctor goes through where they say, does your throat hurt? Are you coughing? Open your mouth. Are your palms sweaty? Right? It's the same. It's a needs analysis. It identifies symptoms so that you can, prescribe to the problem. So, and then the last thing I would do is I would just be aware that a lot of people think that building a brand is something that you do later, and it's something that, you got to invest money into and that type of thing. But I would just like to say that everyone is building a brand anyway. Most people are just building it unintentionally. So if you're someone that doesn't show up on LinkedIn or doesn't show up on Instagram, or your Instagram is patchy and you're like, oh, I'll deal with it later. You're inconsistent and you're like, oh, I'll deal with it later. I'll invest money in it later. Well, you're actually in fact building the hey, I'm Amanda, I'm inconsistent brand, right? By default.
That's
So,
exactly it. Yeah.
get out of default, put your hands on the steering wheel and get into, building your brand with intentionality.
Love that. I love that. And listen to this guy, folks. He knows what he's talking about when it comes to the branding. He wouldn't be here on this show if he hadn't done an outstanding job of his outreach and his positioning and like all of those things. He did a really fabulous job. I loved everything you just said. Maxwell, what's the best way for people to follow you?
Yeah, good question. So I've got two goodies. One goodie is we have an ebook, which is called Scorecard Marketing. We've got a PDF version and the physical version. So we actually have a bunch of physical versions spare that we want to get out to people for free. So whilst we can, if not, you get the PDF anyway. Go to ScoreApp, CoreApp.com/book, and we'll get that out to you. But if you want to talk to me, then love to. I'm addicted to LinkedIn. So message me there, Maxwell Nee. I'm the only one there with that name, and we can chat more.
Love it. And we'll make sure to have the links below for you in the show notes, dear listener. And before you go, don't forget to subscribe. And if you love this episode, which I hope you did, leave a review. Those 5-star reviews, they help other coaches just like you, or other entrepreneurs just like you find the episode. So do take the time to do that. And we will see you on another episode.